And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to GeekWatch, a subsidiary of the Monastery, the open bar of the internet where we say, fuck the grogs.
Fuck the grogs!
I am your one and only gaming monk, better known as Mildra, and with me I have 1, 2, 3, 4 good brothers. Ha 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 ha. We have our flamboyant flyer, good brother Flutter. We have the man who is not who is trying to look like Geist the Bloody, but it's just tomato sauce.
I'll neither confirm nor deny.
Good brother Slick. We have representing distorted illumination, good brother Monarch.
The one man representing distorted illumination happens to be the only member. Good times.
One-man bands are a thing. I mean, just ask Keith. And the man of 1,000 runes, the CEO of Zadari Enterprises, and the bane of my fucking existence, good brother Xanatrix.
The Dari Enterprises would like to remind you that we have a special re-education camp for any grognard. I challenge you to join today.
So, it's been a while since we have done a life path themed episode. In fact, if memory serves, the last time we did that was The Witcher.
It was near the beginning of the year, I think.
Yeah. The infamous moment of, can I interest you in this finely bejeweled codpiece that somehow doubles as a violin string? Don't ask.
Isn't that how you tell your
no,
pieces?
Doku.
Doku.
I'm hoping to get him back on one of these days. It's just that with certain financial issues, he's been really swamped in that. It's like every other night I see him on some spaces discussing that. But I figured since we haven't done that in a while, it was a good time to do it again. And I decided to spin the wheel about which one to do, and it landed on Pendragon, which some of you may recall that I reviewed Pendragon a while back. That was technically the 5.2 edition. A 6th edition of Pendragon is in the works, but all that there is right now is a free sample adventure and a starter set that has a PDF cost of about $20, which for a PDF starter set, like the equivalent of a box set, I think that's a bit much. I could see buying $20 for the physical version, but not the PDF.
No, neither. Yeah, neither can I.
That, and if I'm being honest, starter set PDFs that I have to pay for always feels off. Because the amount of mileage you're going to be able to get out of it is limited compared to, say, a core book.
Yeah.
It's for that reason that I'm well aware of the Final Fantasy XIV TTRPG that's in development. I'm just not going to be getting the starter set. I'm waiting for the full book.
Yeah.
As you should be.
Now, does that mean I'm going to wait a year? Yeah. But it also means I'll have more time to trade barbs with people who are tilting at windmills, thinking that this is going to be using the 5e rule set.
Heh.
There were some people who legitimately thought that in the Sword World Discord, and I was like,
Oh fuck!
I was like, are you the reincarnation of Cervantes? You know, tilting at windmills.
Are you laughing at the joke Monk made, or are you laughing at the game you're playing there, Flutter?
The joke.
Mm-hmm. I have to clarify so that nobody thinks I'm making a Soul Calibur reference.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But Pendragon is again a game that I have a lengthy history with. It is one of Greg Stafford's babies, and if there's anybody who I consider the truest of MVPs when it comes to the early role-playing game pioneers, it is Stafford.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where as opposed to doing something a bit more generic like what you would see from Gygax and Arneson, he decided to make his own game and make his own setting to accompany that game. And his setting is very, very interesting. The sanest thing about it is things like talking ducks or the fact that the world is on a cube in a cosmic sea. RuneQuest is bonkers, and I love it. And of course, that spiraled out into the basic role-playing system that everybody knows through Call of Cthulhu. And I cannot understate how influential Chaosium's output has been over the decades. Even if for the longest time RuneQuest was one of the things I said I wouldn't cover because it would be difficult to truncate the history of all the company jumping that game has done over the years. And one could say, you haven't done a review of RuneQuest. Technically speaking, I did. Mythros was RuneQuest before they lost the license. Before the design mechanism lost the license and they had to make their own thing. Same thing happened with Mongoose. So, in all but name, I have reviewed RuneQuest. But Pendragon is obviously going for the Arthurian approach. Although there is a sister game that was developed called Charlemagne, which is exactly what you think. Not Charlemagne, Paladin, which is subtitled Warriors of Charlemagne. You know, going full matter of France. But the interesting thing is that Pendragon acknowledges the fact that it can't just take one interpretation of the Legend of King Arthur, because in the core book, as you guys have no doubt seen, it does make a few nods to other Arthurian takes. I mean, obviously the big one, and the one I think we all read in school in one form, is La Morte d'Arthur, which is the French version. But I remember a lot of people reading through Mists of Avalon when I was in high school. But within the first few pages, there's a segment called "Which Arthur is this?" And it goes with the themes that have been used in the English version, the French version, the Chronicles version, and more modern takes, as well as Welsh and some more radical takes on the concept.
Yep.
And
because there are a lot of differences in the stories.
Which is a smart move to do that, instead of saying you have to use La Morte d'Arthur as your reference, nothing else, otherwise it's not Pendragon. Because doing that my way or the highway attitude would be stupid.
That it would be.
But of course, the other key thing is having, even though you have the whole of Britain to work with, it focuses on the region of Salisbury, and which again smart move, because it means you don't have to deal with a design analysis paralysis. But the key thing that we would be tackling in this is going to be the background generation.
I have to point out one thing that makes me intensely happy about this entire book.
It has bookmarks.
That too, but this is a very personal thing to me, Monk. Mind your C's and K's. The C sound used in foreign words in this game in almost every instance is pronounced as a hard C, a K sound. This is especially important for these words. Kimrick is pronounced Kimrick, and Celtic is pronounced Celtic.
Mhm.
Remember that the Celtics are a basketball team. A Celt, lowercase c, is a stone knife without a handle, and a Celt is a member of an ancient culture.
Yep.
You got that now, you daft bloomers? Ah, it's Celtic, you bastards!
Should have seen that coming.
Yeah.
It's very close to my heart.
Nothing wrong with that.
Not at all.
We should have seen the joke coming in the long run, but I'm pretty sure Flutter and I, at the very least, got taken by the side on that one.
But yeah, the bookmarks are nice. I like being able to click on any heading in the table of contents and just going to the place.
Nice.
I keep saying this, but navigation is a big damn deal for me.
I have been surprised
I can
how
very
many
much
times that's been an
understand why.
issue with me and Monk on Valley. I'm like, fuck do you have? Why is there not bookmarks here?
Oh, trust me, we over on Valley for Planet Bound, we have more than once had to tell Jeremy to send it again because there are no bookmarks.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost a running gag at this point.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Also, as a bit of an aside, I love the stained glass design for each of the chapter pages.
Oh yeah, that looks gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic.
But the way this is going to be working is I'm gonna, since I don't want everyone to do the rolls. I will be handling the D20 roll that is going to be used with for a lot of this. I know some might say, wait, but this is Chaosium. It's using D20. Yeah. For 5th edition, as the editions went on, they decided to shift from the D100 to a D20 approach.
Which I can very much understand why they did that.
And if it's that much of a deal breaker, just multiply everything by 5.
Exactly. Not that hard.
But
Even better that I don't have to roll because it means the dice can't fuck me. They'll fuck me either way, but this time they won't fuck me as hard as they usually do.
mm-hmm.
True.
Knock on wood.
So
I don't need to knock on wood. I can't be a harem pro tag. Everything's kosher from there.
Yep. So
Uh-huh.
since we're going from top to bottom, that means that Flutter, you are going to be up. You're going to be up first.
All right.
So
Trying to find the page. Ah, chapter 2.
Yep. So we're going to be obviously things like name, the father's name, titles, class. A lot of that is either stuff that's beyond the scope of this, or stuff that we're not going to be covering.
Right.
Well, obviously, he'll choose his own name.
Mm-hmm. So, but if we were doing full character creation, like in a session 0, that is something that we would cover. But the first thing that we're going to be covering is a current home. So,
All right.
let's see, D20, you got a 19. So your current home is a Woodford.
All right.
Let's see.
Woodford is a place, Monk, so it's not a Woodford. It's just Woodford.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Woodford.
Yeah, that's where you are. So let's see. So as a general rule, we're going to be using 21 as the age for everybody.
Yeah, makes sense.
I guess.
And as far obviously after that would be um would be attributes. Once again, as mentioned before, that's things like attributes and the like is something we're going to be skimming past.
Right.
So this is where the real fun begins, because the next part of this, and actually, I know I said I'd be doing the rolling, but it's going to be a little bit more efficient if everyone rolls on their own. So if you don't have dice, if you don't have dice on hand, I'm putting the link to the dice roller I've been using for fucking ever.
I've already got a nice set of metal dice ready to go just for this.
Mhm.
Monk knows I have about 400 dice I can take from.
I could use the dice that are on my windowsill, but I'm a lazy fuck, so.
Yeah, I got mine pulled out right now.
So next we're going to be determining the family history.
All right.
So starting with your great grandfather's glory. So I want you to roll 1d20.
5.
So 1500 glory.
Yep.
And
Here, hold on real quick.
oh,
Sorry about that, guys. Shouldn't take long.
it shouldn't. So now it's time for me to filibuster. So how about that local sports team?
This means that we've, just for everybody keeping along, this means that we've technically skipped to Chapter 3, Family and Fatherland.
Mm-hmm.
Just so you know.
Yeah, because
Look, whoever your local sports team is, Titans are going to kick their ass. I don't even care what sport it is.
Look. Oh, that drove you back in quick.
Look, I know virtually nothing about any sports. I just remember I saw a movie called Remember the Titans when I was younger, and I remember liking it. So the Titans football team are my guys. I know the movie was about a college team or some shit. I don't care.
Anyway.
High school, whatever.
Anyway.
Not important.
So for the cause of death, do you want to roll on the male table or the female table regarding how your great grandparent had Actually, you know what? Since we're dealing with great grandfather, we're gonna roll for his.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So give me another d20.
All right. 13.
Died of natural causes.
That was anticlimactic.
Nah, that just means it was a really good knight who survived all his battles, or he never went to battle.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. So
I take solace in that fact.
So next we have the fun part, because we have to do the.
You need to calculate his grandfather's starting glory next, or his grandfather's glory, because we did the great grandfather first.
Mm-hmm.
So great grand.
Oh, another d20.
Yep.
It's 2d20.
Oh, 2d20.
Because your grandfather begins with 1/10 of his father's glory, thus 1/10 of your great grandfather's glory, plus 2d20 for his own actions.
Yeah, 22 total.
So 22 plus 150 is, 172. And
Yes,
now,
15 on each roll.
and now Monk, I think, is the fun part, like you were saying.
Yep. So we have to do the events table going from year 439 to year 457.
Mm-hmm.
So so D20. So I need another D20 roll.
All right. 9.
Fought at the Battle of Carleon, roll below.
Say another D20, I think.
Yep. It's another
All
D20
right.
result.
There we go.
17.
Survived.
Continue history. Roll for passion. So roll on the passion table.
Okay. Another D20 or?
Yep.
Yes.
All right.
Everything looks like it's looking at
20.
Gain passion, hate Irish, 3d6. Damned Irish, they don't fight like real men.
Look, I am sending that quote to my old coworker who is an Irish cook. It'll be great.
It's all that mead.
So roll 3d6 to determine how strong it is.
14.
Jeez, and that's just 1 year. So next we have year 440, where this was the year King Constantine was murdered by one of his own guards.
Mm-hmm.
So roll d20.
8.
Served garrison duty, killed by Pictish raider, gained 20 glory and history.
Ah.
So in the year 440, your dad or your grandpa died.
Mm-hmm. Sadly.
Killed by the Pictish, the Proto-Scots.
Yep.
He deserved it.
So
Yeah.
so let's see. He had 172. Then gets a amount of glory of 15 times 1d6 times 1. So roll d6.
5.
So 15 times 5,
Mm-hmm.
which is 75.
Yep.
And then he gets 20 from his death.
Yep.
So 95 plus the 172.
Yep. So that's, so your
267.
Yep. So your grandfather had a total of 267 glory.
Grandfather's final glory, 267.
And that means your father's glory is is just 26.
Ah.
Let's see. That takes care of the family part. Or at least when it comes to that. Give me a minute.
The other way. So this is how it's going to be.
So next.
Trying to get you to take a photo of them. It's super nice and making the photos free and making the person to get all their other mascot friends to jump in the photo because
there's
Well, his history ended, so
Yeah.
um. See, I think. Let me see. Hang on, let me see something. 51. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think that's where we'll end that part.
All right.
Actually there is one there is one other part, and that is going to be that is going to be the yeah. Know what? I was going to put in the young knights regarding family, but I decided no, not
Yeah.
that's a bit beyond that's a bit beyond the scope here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Honestly, it's
so instead Rick, you're up Rick, you're up next.
12.
what's his
Do you-
current home?
So let me see current 12 Pitten. All right.
Spelled Pitton
Mhm.
for you there, Rick.
Piton.
Pitton.
Couple.
I think it might be pronounced Python, but I'm not sure.
So next is going to be
sounds right.
your great grandfather's glory.
Sorry, Glory.
So that's another D20 roll.
Another natural cause.
Well, no, you're
I have
rolling for
14.
his glory.
Yeah. Not
Gl-
cause
gl-
of death.
yeah,
14.
14. So that'd be 1,000 plus 1d20 times 100, so that's 1,400, 2,400 glory. Now you roll for your great grandfather's cause of death.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So whammies. 15.
Still natural causes. So your grandfather's glory is 1/10 of your great grandfather's glory plus 2d20. So roll 2d20.
Eight.
Okay.
No, 2d20. You add up
No,
the
that's
roll. Oh, you got 4 on both rolls. My mistake.
Flutter. I know what I'm doing.
Okay.
Fair.
So your grandfather's glory starts at 248, and now we start the whole process of rolling the years again.
All right.
Yep.
Let's start at the year 439. So roll D20.
20.
Fought at the Battle of Carleon.
Okay.
So Fought at the Battle of Carleon. So
16.
let's see. So roll d20 again. So let's see how he did in the battle.
16. He
Survived.
survived.
So,
And then roll 1d6 so that we can get the glory for that.
mhm.
1.
So 15 times 1 times 1 is 15.
Mm-hmm.
And then passion.
Yep.
18.
You also get passion, hate, Irish.
Brothers in arms. Love
It's
to
like
see
there's
it.
a theme of this group forming.
So roll
That there is. I noticed that myself too.
roll
420.
3d6.
3d6. Well,
So plus 12 hatred of the Irish. Got it.
so that includes all the streamers that come from there as well.
I don't know. Does
So-
it?
So next is the year 440.
15. Serve
So-
garrison duty, but I survived.
Survived Pictish raiding, gained 10 glory.
Yep.
Mm.
All right. So next we're dealing with the years 441 and 442. At the urging of Duke Vortigern of the Goesi, the High Council chooses Constans, the young son of Constantine, as king. Constans is a young bookish type, so he relies on his uncle Duke Vortigern for advice.
I think it is Vortigern.
Vortigern.
Yeah, it is Counts of Vortigern.
So this is for years 441 and 442. Got it.
Here we go. I fell off. 14.
Served garrison duty, survived raiding, gained 20 glory.
All right.
You serve a lot. You serve a lot of garrison duty there, Rick.
Yeah,
But I mean that figures for a knight, to be honest.
it does.
So next is year 443. Young King Constans is murdered by his Pictish bodyguards. After much debate, Duke Vortigern is selected to be the next king of the Britons. The younger brothers of King Constans are taken away to Brittany in secret. Also this year, a prelate from the Pope, the saintly Germanus, comes to Britain to condemn and combat British Christianity. Your grandfather either resists or supports this, depending on your family's choice of religion.
Which we didn't make so.
I think there's I believe there's with core book there's the inbuilt assumption that you're doing British Christian.
Yeah.
Which makes the most sense in terms of.
Well, you could still be
Always
Roman
happens.
Catholic.
Yeah, you could.
So
There you go.
roll.
Rolling.
Mhm.
Okay. 15.
Served garrison duty, survived raiding, gained 20 glory.
I'm sensing a pattern.
All right.
But you don't get a passion out of it, unfortunately.
Eh.
Look at it this way: he survived the whole time just staying in the garrison.
So
That seems kind of cowardly.
It does.
so next.
No one else needs to know that.
Next is the years 444 to 445. The Picts stage a massive invasion, with their armies occupying much of the north and bands of raiders penetrating all the way into Logs. Rather than risk a great loss, King Vortigern orders his armies to dig in and garrison their homes and holdings.
Number 20.
Now it's not cowardice because your king told you to. You rolled 20?
Uh-huh.
Survived garrison duty, served garrison duty and survived, saw little to no combat. You don't even get any glory out of that one.
Oof.
All right.
No, so the whole time that was happening, I was with my crew, just enjoying myself. Meanwhile, at the same, eating liveliest nights could. The garrison could. Anyway,
So next we have the year 446. King Vortigern realizes that he needs assistance against the furious Picts, and in good Roman fashion hires new barbarians to fight the old barbarians. The Saxon kings Hengist and Horsa come from the continent with their bands of warriors to join Vortigern's army. Thus reinforced, the Briton army marches north against the Picts. Battle is met near the city of Lincoln, and is a great victory for the British.
I'm hoping for a 2 to 5. I want this pattern to keep going.
15.
Fought at the Battle of Lincoln.
I'll be honest, Monarch. I'm with you. I wish it was a 2 to 5.
So roll another 20 there.
Okay. Yeah. Just imagine the eternal garrison duty. It survived everything. Let's see. 11.
Survived. Continue history. Roll on Passion Table 443, which we'll get to. But first, you survived the Battle of Lincoln.
443 is actually before the chart, but yeah.
Yes, but that's where it directs you to go. But first, we've got to calculate your glory. 30 times 1d6 times 2. So roll a d6.
3, so 6.
3 times 2 is 6. 6 times 30 is 180. Okay. So now you also gain a passion. Roll on Passion Table 443, which is... Go ahead, roll for it.
14.
Gain passion, hate Picts.
You hate the Irish and the Picts.
And so now roll 1d6.
2.
So 2 plus 6 is 8. So you have plus 8 hate for the Picts.
All right. So let's see. So next is years 447 through 449. During this time, King Vortigern spares his own army, using the Saxons to drive the Picts out of the north. More Saxons come to Britain, including many families, and Hengist's daughter Rowena becomes a favorite at Vortigern's court. News from the continent is persistent in saying that new foes, the Huns, are defeating the German tribes right, and left. These savages are thought to be half demon, half horse.
So there's first you roll, and then there's one other thing you choose.
Roll and then decide if my family complains about the foreigners.
Yo. Roll determines whether you survive or not.
I know. 3.
Nothing significant occurred, so you survived. But did your family complain about foreigners or no?
Oh.
No, they're just... No.
No complaints. Got it.
He was
we
the
have
one
other
doing all
things
the
to worry.
complaining about foreigners.
We have enough. My family has enough. In-universe. My family has enough things to worry about.
Like you surviving garrison duty all those times somehow.
All right. That brings us to year 450. Vortigern, impressed with the battle prowess of the Saxons and even more with the talents of Rowena, the daughter of the Saxon chief Hengist, marries her this year in a lavish celebration. Hengist receives the Cantiati Civitas as her bride price and renames it Kent. Many voice concern that King Vortigern is favoring these newcomers more than local native Britons. So, roll again.
8.
Attended the wedding of Vortigern and Rowena, gained 25 glory.
Okay.
Year 451. Year 451. News from the continent indicates that the Huns, led by their king Attila, have reached the walls of Rome itself but were unable to storm or besiege it. Some say the Huns were stopped because they lacked siege engines, others that they failed because of the Pope's piety. After failing to smash off or bluff Rome into submission, the Hun army turns to Gaul for pillage and plunder, scouring the land of its wealth, slaughtering as it goes. The commander in Gaul, Ateus, I'm pretty sure I've mispronounced that.
Aetius, maybe? Because Aegis.
Yeah, Aetius calls for help from all who will send it, and Vortigern sends a small contingent. The allied army meets the Huns at Chalons, where the Huns are defeated and driven from Europe. Cerdic is born to Vortigern and Rowena, if your grandfather complained, which he didn't, so that doesn't apply.
Roll on 415A. You're gonna survive garrison duty unless you roll a fail.
The eternal garrison.
No glory, but at least you survive.
Mhm.
452 through 454 is next.
So what did you get, Rick?
I had 15 for the.
Served garrison duty and survived. Saw little to no combat, Monk.
Mhm.
He doesn't go to the Battle of Shalom because he didn't. He didn't complain.
All right. Year 452 to 454. Northern Irish under Fergus begin colonizing Dalriada. Vortigern sends raids into Irish lands.
9.
Nothing significant occurred.
Years 455 to 456. News arises that Rome, the center of the civilized world, has been sacked. The tribe of Germans called the Vandals has done the impossible and brought Rome low. The
They
Western
vandalized it.
Hmm?
They vandalized it.
The Western Empire is finished. Vortigern moves Canorvi warriors to Demonia and Voltandi in Cambria, where they expel the Irish. Vortigern is persuaded to settle Saxons under Hengast's sons Acta and Enosa in former Parisi lands, founding Nohaut and Deira. Shiploads of continental Saxons flock to the new Theods.
9.
Nothing significant. Man,
Jesus, Rick.
at least you survive all the... Well, I mean, it's easy to survive these because the death is a crit fail.
Mm-hmm. Year 457. High King Vortigern summons his army, drawing from western tribes with the Saxons, and marches against the rebels. A great battle ensues at Craig Canford in Kent, where the rebels are crushed. Vortigern forgives his son, Vortimer, but assumes the regency of Powys since Cadagern's son, Cadel, is too young to rule. Vortigern gives the rest of the Canti tribe's lands to his loyal Saxons. As a tribe, the Canti are finished.
I rolled a 14.
But at the Battle of Kent.
All right.
Battle of Kent.
So, were you loyalist, neutral, or a rebel?
Neutral.
All right. Battle of Kent under Vortigern. The opponents were Saxons and some British under Vortigern versus rebel British under Vortner.
Yep. So
20.
you need to. You got a 20?
Yes.
Defeated a rebel hero who was trying to get through Vortigern's bodyguards. Publicly praised by Vortigern for valor. Gain 125 glory and 2 additional belongings rolls for loot and reward. Roll for passion on 475A at plus 15. We'll get to that. Let me write this all down, please.
Mm-hmm.
So, Battle of Kent. Served Vortigern, I should say. Lay rebel leader plus 125 glory. On top of that, we probably won't be doing the additional belongings rolls just because we're not tracking loots and rewards. But the new passion. Go ahead and roll your passion.
Another 20.
Become a loyalist if not already one. So now you're a loyalist at plus 15.
Mm-hmm. Which brings us to years 458 and 459. Many dissident Britons depart from the island, moving with their families and possessions to Brittany. Your grandfather, loyal to the Earl of Salisbury, remains.
A third 20.
Served garrison duty, saw little or no combat.
Back to the garrisons.
Back to the garrison you
Back
go.
to the grind.
So next is year 160.
You mean
This-
460.
Yeah, 460. This year begins with your father's personal history as a knight. He starts with 100 glory for being knighted, plus 1/10 of the total current glory of his father, whether his father still lives or not. From this point forward, any further glory won by your grandfather, if he still lives, does not accrue to your father.
So we technically should have done this with Flutter then, once we got to year 460.
Mm-hmm.
We may go back and do that later.
Nah.
But, well, before you roll anything, we have to calculate your grandfather's current glory at 460. Hold on. So, your grandfather started with 248 glory. Let me add all this up. He got 10 from garrison duty, 20 from garrison duty, 20 from garrison duty, 180 from the Battle of Lincoln, 15 from the Battle of Carlion, 25 from attending the wedding, 125 from slaying a rebel leader.
It's like he spends his entire life in the garrison, but every time he steps out, he does
He's a
something great,
badass.
and then just crawls back into the garrison until they need a badass again.
Your grandfather's current glory is 643. Your father's current glory then is 1,000 plus 1/10 of your grandfather, so 1,064. Okay, and then you said you rolled what, 9?
Yep.
Father and grandfather served garrison duty, saw little or no combat.
Off to training, son. Why
So-
don't we train so we could be a badass like me?
So then we have the years 461 to 462. The rule of King Vortigern has proved unwise and very oppressive, often favoring his Saxon mercenaries and in-laws over his lawful subjects. Many nobles have talked of rebellion, and when Vortigern's eldest son, by his first marriage, agrees to lead the nobles, general rebellion breaks loose. The Earl of Salisbury is among the rebels to fight in the Battle of Cambridge.
Okay, roll
20.
your grandfather fought against Vortigern at the Battle of Cambridge. So, grandfather in Battle of Cambridge. Okay, roll 20 again.
7.
Grandfather survived, add 10 glory. Okay, and then roll a d6.
3.
3 times 30 is 90, plus the 10 is 100. So, plus 100 glory to your grandfather.
So now we get to year 463. Ostensibly to bring peace to all sides, Vortigern and Hengest call a council of all of all combatants to meet at Stonehenge for a feast of peace. Seeking reconciliation, almost all British knights attend. The Saxons prove their worth through great treachery, though, and the majority of the nobles in Britain are slain in the Night of Long Knives. In the subsequent confusion, a large part of their armies are dispersed or slain. The Earl of Salisbury is among the dead.
You don't need to roll. You
Why
don't
is
need
there a
to-
table here that lists 1 through 20?
You don't need to roll. So you gained
I
passion.
still rolled a 15.
Okay.
For fuck's
You-
sake, for the fucks.
You rolled hate. You gained passion. Hate Saxons. Now roll 3d6.
So he hates the Irish, the Picts, and the Saxons.
Number 1.
So you roll 3d6.
1, 6, 8.
8 total.
Yep.
Okay, so you've got 14 hatred for Saxons, which is quite a lot.
All right.
And now and
Isn't it just higher than his hatred of the Irish? They
no,
killed his grandfather.
it is higher than the hatred of the Irish, and of the Picts. Now, this is where I now have to put grandfather's final glory is 743. Somehow he has less glory than his son, despite being a badass.
Well, I guess we see what happened to his son next.
Yep.
Your father.
Yep.
Pure hair.
So, next we have the year 464. In this year, your father marries to procure an heir rather than for love. He is fortunate in that his own father was favored by the Earl of Salisbury, and there are many heiresses now, in the wake of the Night of Long Knives, needing protection. He marries a widow with a manor of her own, who, thanks to her former husband, has a modicum of glory before she remarries, which this accrues to your father.
Roll d20.
15.
100 extra glory to your father.
How?
Yep. And of course, in this year, your character is born, assuming 21, which we are.
Yep.
Year 465, Vortigern with his Saxons marches back and forth across Britain, extracting tribute and plunder. Many more Britons flee the land. Your father, a young knight, remains in his lands, tends to his manor, and waits with his lord. Vortigern takes reference in Gomeret, attempting to build a fortress. The youthful Merlin makes his appearance and begins his career here.
Yep.
So,
And there's nothing you need to roll there.
and years 466 and 467. Aurelius Ambrosius, son of the former King Constantine and brother of Constance, lands in Hampshire with an army from Brittany. He carries a banner with a red dragon upon it. All across the land, the discontented nobles muster their armies and join him. Vortigern seeks to escape, but his Saxon allies go back home to Kent, and many other allies desert him. After besieging a portion of Vortigern's army at Carleon, Aurelius marches through the entire island, accepting the submission of those loyal to the Vortigerns.
Well, you're 20.
Where's my 20?
Yep.
17.
Fought at the siege of Carleon. First the Battle of Carleon for your grandfather, now the siege of Carleon for your father.
14.
14. Survived. Hooray. And then roll a d6.
3.
3 times 15 is 45. Okay.
All right. Year 468. Aurelius and his army pursue Vortigern and besiege him in his new castle on Mount Snowdon. A battle ensues in which Vortigern is killed and his army is scattered. Aurelia summons the High Council and they elect him High King. He takes the title of Pendragon, or High Dragon, or Head Dragon, derived from his great battle banner.
15.
Fought at the Battle of Snowdon.
Followed by a 9, so I survive.
Survived. And then roll 1d3. So roll a d6 and divide by 2.
I want to say it's almost impossible to roll that. We're going to go. I rolled a 4, so I think that's 2.
Yep. So 2 times 15 times 2, or 4 times 15. Wait a minute. Why did they say 1d3? 15 times 1d3 times 2. No! Fuck this! Just it's 4. 4 times 15 is 60. This book makes no sense sometimes!
Look, I don't think that's any worse than that what roll the d20 results 1 through 20.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
You're not wrong, but at the same time, there's a narrative aspect to that roll.
Mm-hmm.
Or 15 times 1d6 times 1.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
So then we have years 469 to 472. Many Saxons come over from the continent and settle in Kent over their king, Hergast. High King Aurelius maintains an unsteady peace with the Saxons, Irish, and Picts, despite their raiding. His younger brother, Uther, makes a name for himself as a great warrior, countering these raids and leading Pict warriors in raids into enemy territory.
7.
Gained 50 glory in the fighting, so... Okay.
Alright. Year 473. The Saxons, confident of victory, march into the Thames Valley. King
Thames.
Huh?
It's the Thames Valley.
Thames, sorry. King Aurelius raises an army to resist, but loses the battle in a major Saxon victory.
Roll your 20.
13. I'm fighting.
Fought at the Battle of Windsor. Roll again.
This is where we end. 5.
Died in battle. Gain hate Saxons passion 2d6 plus 6. Hold on. Died in battle. Gained passion. This is a passion probably going to be stronger than your father's was.
Yeah.
Hate Saxons. All right, roll your 2d6.
8.
8 plus 6 is 14. No, you hate Saxons as much as your grandfather did.
Hold on. 30 times 1d6 times 0.5.
Or 15 times 1d6. Yeah, you also need to roll the 1d6 because you still get the glory for battle.
5.
5 times 15 is 75. Okay. So let's get the father's final glory here. I have this ready. So your father started with 1,064. Your father got 100 glory from marrying. 45 glory at the Siege of Carlion. 60 glory at the Battle of Snowdon. 50 glory fighting various Pictish raids and Saxon raids and Irish raids. And 75 glory when he died at the Battle of Windsor, for a total of 1,394 glory. We really need to go back and do, or 94 glory, excuse me. We really need to go back and do the rest of Flutter's history at this point.
Page
All right, yeah,
62,
I'll go.
year 460.
Yep. Yeah, and so hold on a second here.
So what do we call my guy, the Eternal Garrison Badass?
We call your family the Garrison
Well,
Stompers.
I
That's what I'm
thought
gonna
that
call
was
them.
just mostly his grandfather just spent the whole time in the garrison. They're like, well, we need to roll the badass out for a fight.
He taught his son how to be a good Garrison Knight too.
Yeah,
But then his son got involved in many more battles. Okay, so
It literally says, like, near the end, I looked ahead. It's, like, the final one. It says...
I heard you.
Year 485. It's like, at the second paragraph. This is the current year, the start of your... Or, no, it was somewhere around here. It's... Yeah. One of them, it says, if your father has survived this thus far, and quotes, no small feat. He fights again this year, but then he perishes. So, yeah, no small feat. There's a lot.
So, what I've done at this point is I have the final glories for a bunch of people here. Going back up to Flutter, his grandfather's final glory was only 267, so his father's current glory is only 1,027. And so now we need to determine stuff about his dad.
So how much glory does Flutter's grandfather have?
Flutter's grandfather only had 267 when he died.
All right.
Flutter's father then starts with 1,000 plus a tenth of that, and a tenth of that would be 26.7. So I don't know if this game does round up or round down.
Round down.
Okay, so he starts with 1,020. His father's current glory is 1,026. Let's see how many years Flutter's dad gets for the rest of this. You ready, Flutter, to continue your legacy?
Yep.
Flutter? Okay.
Yes. You didn't notice I was still muted on mobile. Sorry. Anyway,
So since your grandfather is already dead, there's no real reason to roll on the events table for 460. So we'll just put father served garrison duty but saw little to no combat.
Yeah. So
Okay.
same roll for.
So now we're going for 461 and 462. Roll d20.
All right. Oh, whoops. 20. Hold on. 14.
I don't think this works. In fact, I don't think this can work because your grandfather's dead.
Yeah.
So, once again, father served garrison duty and survived. I didn't read that part. That's my bad. And
It's
then in
weird
year-
because 6 through 20 is the only one that doesn't mention father saw garrison duty.
So, in
Nice.
463, obviously, you don't get the passion because your grandfather's already dead. So we'll just skip to 464, where your father marries.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So we've got one family that did a bit of fighting and one family that did a lot of fighting.
Yep.
Well, we need him to roll for 465 to see what glory he gets from his wife.
All right.
Or 464.
All right, roll it.
All right. 20. Eight.
100 glory. Father marries. plus 100 glory. 465, your father does nothing. He's just tending to his own lands.
Mm-hmm.
And for 466 through 467, go ahead and roll.
13.
You fight at the siege of your father fights at the siege of Caerleon. Roll 1d20 again.
17.
He survives. And now roll 1d6.
2.
30 glory. Alrighty. You're 468. Roll to see what you do with Aurelius Ambrosius here.
9.
Fought at the Battle of Snowdon. Roll your d20.
6.
You survive, because the 1 is the only way you can die at that battle.
Uh-huh.
Roll a d6.
2.
30 glory.
I'm sensing a theme.
Okay, now you're helping Uther with the raids. Roll 1d20.
14.
100 glory. Let me see. Yep. You gained 100 glory while fighting the raids. Or your father did, I should say.
Yeah.
Okay. And now we get to year 473.
All right. 8.
Served garrison duty, saw little or no combat. You survived where Rick's grandfather died. Or father died, I should say.
Huh. Interesting difference.
Now we are on to year 474 through 476, monks.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
18.
Well, let him read first.
Sorry. Go ahead.
So which year?
474 through 476.
My mistake.
That's okay, you've already rolled. We know what your roll
The
is.
Saxons of Kent roam and pillage the land. Only fortified places are safe, and even the peasants suffer terribly.
He rolled an 18, served garrison duty and survived, gained 25 glory. Look at that! You actually survived and got glory. It's like the early days all over again.
Mm-hmm. Year 477. Another Saxon king, Aelle, lands in southern Britain with a large army and takes over the area. Many of the peasants flee, but others are captured and enslaved. Aelle renames the land South Saxony, or Sussex. Aurelius Ambrosius marches with his army to oppose the foe, who is reinforced at the last moment by the Saxons from Kent.
What?
Ambrosius is lucky to escape with his army. The Saxons remain.
Roll a d20.
And I only like onions really, really cooked.
Oh, sorry, guys.
Do these have onions in it? Open that up. Yeah. Maybe that was supposed to be yours.
I guess we're just gonna sit and wait for Flutter's next roll for now.
Mm-hmm.
We can filibuster a bit. So none of these rolls actually affect your character, which is nice, which means once the father dies, well, that's the end of this whole history thing. But as you can see, the histories are quite involved because tracking glory is an important thing for knights.
That it is.
I'm pretty sure it's going to matter by the time, or it's going to have an effect, but we'll see how much of one.
Yeah, anyway. So...
Roll your d20 for 477.
Okay. 7.
Survived garrison duty, 25 glory. Look at that. You're getting small bits of glory here and there all the time.
Yeah.
478 and 479, Monk.
All right. For years, Aurelius has been building a fleet of ships in the ports of his western lands. In this year, he musters his army and sets sail, sweeping around the southern coast, where he destroys the fleets of the Saxons in Britain. Then he sails to the continent, destroying all the hostile shipping as he goes. The British army lands in Frisia, doing great damage to the Saxons there and winning a battle against the barbarians. The Saxons in Britain begin vicious raiding and retaliation.
So roll to see which battle you're fighting in. You don't get a choice whether it's a battle.
10.
Sailed with the High King's fleet. Gained 25 glory. Fought at the Battle of Frisia. Hold on. So, sailed with High King. Plus 25 glory. Battle of Frisia. Roll your d20, brah.
All right. 11.
Survived. Now roll your d6.
3.
45 glory.
All right, so that brings us to year 480.
Mm-hmm.
An army of the Saxons sails up the Port River into Salisbury. While planning for battle, Aurelius is poisoned by a false doctor. Despite his illness, Ambrosius marches with Uther against the enemy, whom they meet at Menevia. Ambrosius confronts the foe while Uther takes his army around to the Saxons' rear and cuts them off from their ships, attacking with great vigor. It is a great victory for the British, but Ambrosius is killed in the fighting.
All right. Oh wait, whoops. 2.
Served garrison duty.
They don't think I want to partake in this fight. I think we're good here.
Since he survived, he attended the funeral of High King Aurelius Ambrosius, who is interred with great ceremony and sorrow in the Giant's Dance, i.e. Stonehenge. Afterward, the High Council meets and unanimously elects Uther to be the new Pendragon. Your father is present at the coronation. Your father gains 50 glory for each event, i.e. 100 total.
Oh, well, let me write that down. Attends Aurelius funeral plus 50 glory. Attends Uther's coronation. I mean, it's a high council and it is a coronation.
It is.
Plus 50 glory. There we go. Okay.
All right.
All right, Monk. We're at years 481 through 483.
Right. The Saxons are relatively quiet during this time, with small bands raiding here and there, but no armies marching. It is reported that many of their women and children have now settled in their lands.
All right. 12.
Served garrison duty and survived. Saw little to no combat, so no glory this time.
Year 484. Another wave of Saxons arrives by boat and settles in the land of Deira. Aided by the Saxons in Britain and some rebellious northern Britons, they attack in the land of Malahout. Their army defeats the northern defenders, then lays siege to the city of Ebracrum.
Ebuticum.
Ebuticum.
I'm pretty sure that's Latin, or so it'd be Ebuticum or something like that.
Yep.
It is Latin, yeah.
King Uther raises his army and hastens northward to join battle. However, King Uther, anxious to relieve the sorry inhabitants of Eburacum, is drawn into a trap and fights a desperate battle, from which he barely escapes with great loss.
Oof.
Oof.
So roll your d20, brother.
8.
Fought at the Battle of Eburacum. Okay. Battle of Eburacum. Roll your d20 again.
Whoops. 5.
Died in battle or of wounds received there. Gain hate Saxons. Passion 1d6 plus 6.
To be fair, every result here involves a 1d6 plus 6 hate Saxons.
Yep.
3.
So 9. Hold on. Let me write down your passion of hate Saxons. You said 3?
Mm-hmm.
Plus 9. Okay. So your plus 14 still takes the original. When I read how passions worked earlier, it's whatever passion you gained that's still the highest is what takes priority.
Right.
So your originally hate Saxons plus 14 works. Now, the next thing, roll your 1d6.
3.
3 times 15 is 45, so 45 glory. And with that, your father's story has come to an end. So, let's calculate his glorious life. He started with 1,026 glory. He got 100 from marrying. He got 30 from the Siege of Caerleon, or Carleon, I should say. 30 from the Battle of Snowdon, 100 from fighting the raids with Uther, 25 from garrison duty, another 25 from garrison duty, another 25 from sailing with the High King, another 45 from the Battle of Frisia, 50 for Aurelius's funeral, 50 for Uther's coronation, and 45 for his glorious death at the Battle of Eburacum, ending his life with a total of 1,551 glory. And there you go, guys. As we could see, glory is everything, except when you're doing garrison duty all the time. All right.
We forgot a burning hatred of the Irish, the Picts, and the Saxons.
I think that's both sides in this
Especially
case, man.
the Irish.
It is.
They all hate the Irish.
Yeah. In this case, I believe it is Monarch's turn.
Yep.
All right. Start with home. 13. So Shrewton.
Shrewton. Hold on. I'm copying my my whatever you want to call it. My template. Now that I have all the years written out, got a good template going. So, Shrewton. Yep, Shrewton. We're also, again, assuming you're 21 to start.
Uh-huh.
Now, roll your d20 for your grandpa's glory.
12.
12 times 100 is 1,200, plus 1,000 is 2,200. Roll a d20 for his death.
I've got 10.
He died from some accident. It isn't specific what.
Wait, we're already rolling death for the grandpa?
The great-grandpa.
Oh, great-grandfather, okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to just say it's some unspecified accident.
Well, I mean, the cause is right here. Or
It
the
says,
table.
it says other accident.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
10 to 11 is other accent. It's not specified.
13.
Okay, so your grandfather's glory is a tenth of your great-grandfather's glory plus 2d20. So roll 2d20.
10 and 9, so 19.
19, so 239 is your grandfather's starting glory.
All right. Starting with the year 439. 18. So he'll have fought.
Yep, fights at the Battle of Caerleon.
And 3.
He survives, so he gets the... Now roll 1d6 to see how much glory he gets.
So I rolled a 3.
So 45 glory. And now roll to see if you get the passion.
18.
You get the passion, roll 3d6.
2, 4, 8 total.
Okay, plus 8 hatred of the Irish.
Feels a little low.
You must have killed too many of them to care.
I worked with an Irish cook. It feels low. All right. So 440. Only got a 10.
Served garrison duty, survived Pictish raiding, gained 10 glory.
And 41 through 42. That would be a 9.
Served garrison duty, survived raiding, gained 20 glory.
43. I hit a 14.
Served garrison duty, survived trading, gained 20 glory.
What do we got to? 44 and 45. Be 16.
Served garrison duty and survived, defended well, gained 10 glory. That's different than Rick.
Yeah.
All right, to 46. We're going to have a 12.
12 means you fought at the Battle of Lincoln.
19.
Survived, and you're going to get a passion, but first roll 1d6.
That would be a 2.
2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 30 is 120. 120 glory. Now roll 1d20 to see if you get a passion for hating Picts.
He's going.
11.
Yeah, that's passion, hate Picts. Roll 1d6.
5.
1d6 plus 6. So 5 plus 6 is 11. So you hate the Picts more than you do the Irish.
Huh.
Okay, now first, before you roll this, decide if your family is complaining about all the foreigners.
I'll go for odd yes, even no. No, they're not.
No complaints. Okay. So then roll your 1d20.
19.
Nothing significant occurred. You're fine.
And 450 now.
Yup.
I got some 9.
So you attended the wedding and gained 25 glory.
450. Oh, is this the next one that matters?
451. Just
Yeah.
you have to roll to see if you survived garrison duty or not.
3.
You survived garrison duty. Then the next one you have to see if you if nothing significant occurred or if you die.
11.
Nothing significant occurred.
What chart are we up to now? Or what year?
455, 456.
Mm-hmm.
3.
You survived. Now we're at 457.
12. Oh, sorry.
So first I was going to see, you didn't complain, right?
I did not complain.
So you're not going to be a rebel. You're likely neutral or loyalist. Meaning that you will now roll to see if you fought at the Battle of Kent. So, were you neutral, or do you think you might be a loyalist?
Loyalistic is.
Okay, so you get a +10 to your roll if you're a loyalist.
So, just another d20 for 457.
Mm-hmm.
So I fought at the Battle of Kent, or
You absolutely
just by
did that.
default?
Mm-hmm. And what did you do at the Battle of Kent?
It's a good question. We're going to go with 10.
Okay, you survived. You're going to roll for a passion eventually. But first we're going to roll for your glory. What?
D6? Or is that
Yeah, 1d6.
5?
Okay, so 5d6, so that's 150 times 1.5. Wow.
They couldn't adjust.
225 glory. You got 225 glory. We forgot to give the extra glory that Rick was supposed to get because we only gave him the glory for slaying a rebel hero.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're going to roll for your passion.
I mean, I'm already a loyalist.
This is
It's
true.
no passion or become a loyalist.
Okay, so you don't gain a passion because you're already a loyalist.
Yep.
Okay. 458 and 459.
13.
You survive. Your grandfather survives garrison duty. It is now that I need to calculate your grandfather's current glory. Started with 239. Got 45 from the Battle of Carlion, 10 from the garrison duty, 20 from garrison duty, 20 from garrison duty, another 10 from garrison duty, 120 from the Battle of Lincoln, 25 from the wedding, 225 from the Battle of Kent. That puts him at a current of 714, which means that your father starts at 1071. Alrighty, go ahead and roll for 460.
2.
Father and grandfather served garrison duty and saw little or no combat.
61 to 62.
Yep.
B. 15.
You fought in the battle. Your grandfather fought in the Battle of Cambridge.
And that would be a 1.
Grandfather died gloriously in battle. So, first, roll 1d6.
5.
5 times 30 is 150, plus 1,000 is 1,150. I'm going to put...
Why couldn't he have
died
died in Kent? I'd have had more glory on my dad, too.
gloriously. Plus 1,150 glory. Okay, so hold on. Now to go all the way down to your grandfather's final glory. That is going to be 1,864 glory. Your grandpa is
Bobby
dead.
Reed.
Which also means we can skip year 463 because there's no one to hate if your grandfather isn't killed in the Night of Long Knives.
I want him to hate the Saxons, though.
Well, it's too bad. It's too fucking bad.
Sorry about your goddamn luck.
Sorry that your grandpa died before you could hate the Saxons again. I'm just gonna call this what it. I'm just gonna call this what it is. Father served garrison duty and survived. So that's basically what it is.
Uh-huh.
Well, 64 next, so
Yep.
my daddy's in marriage.
See what your dad gets when he remarries.
13.
That's gonna be 100 glory. 465. Your dad does nothing. Nobody does anything, in fact. 466 and 67.
19 to fighting Carleon.
Again. Oh, this time it's your dad, not your grandpa, though.
Yeah.
Roll again.
19.
Survived. Roll 1d6.
4.
That's 60 glory.
And for 68, we're at 11, so Thought and Snowden.
Snowden, yep. Where are you, d20?
13.
You survived. Roll your d6.
You mean my D3?
No, your d6.
I rolled a 3.
So 3 times 2 is 6. 6 times 15 is 90. Okay, now how much glory did you get fighting with Uther? Or did you fucking die?
Die.
I only got a 2, so only 25 glory.
Ooh,
No.
shitty. Okay.
I mean, it's better than dying, I guess.
Also true.
Fair.
473.
12.
Fought at the Battle of Windsor. This is where you'll get hate Saxons.
Woo! 12.
Survived, gain hate Saxons. But before that, roll your d6.
5.
So that's going to be 5 times 30 is 75 in... I fucking hate this. It's going to be 37. 37 glory. Okay, now roll 2d6.
4 and 4, so 8.
Plus 6 is 14. You hate Saxons 14, just like Rick.
Just like I wanted.
Just like Rick. So let me grab the other part of my template from the rest of Flutter's part. Okay.
Right.
So let's go. 474, 476. Let's do it.
17.
Served garrison duty and survived. Gained plus 25 glory. 77.
9.
Served garrison duty and survived. Gained 25 glory.
And for Aurelius. 17.
Sailed with the High King's fleet. Gained 25 glory. Fought in the Battle of Frisia. Roll for the Battle of Frisia.
11.
Survived. Okay. So roll d6 for your glory.
3.
3d6 is 45 glory. Okay, 477. Let's see if you get a 2 like Flutter did.
477?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Four,
I scrolled down an extra page. I'm like, wait a second, I'm off.
wait, 480, excuse me. I read the wrong column.
Okay, 10.
Fought at the Battle of Salisbury. This is different. Holy shit. Hold on. Let me of Salisbury. Okay, roll to see if you survived.
1, I do not.
You die gloriously in battle in the fields of Salisbury. So first, roll your d6.
6?
So
It was a glorious battle indeed.
6 times 2 is 12. Times 45 is 540 plus the 1,000 from your death.
Ah!
So, when you died, you only kind of hated the Irish and the Picts, but you really hated the Saxons. You died gloriously, and so you got plus 1,540 glory. Okay, so to calculate your father's final glory, it's going to be way higher than your grandfather's. Tell you that much.
This seems
So you
by
started-
design.
You didn't design it. You rolled it. Shut up.
I mean the higher number.
This is true. Okay, so your father started with 1,071 glory, got 100 for remarrying, got 60 from the Siege of Carlion, got 90 from the Battle of Snowden, only got 25 with the raids with Uther, got 37, a weird-ass number from the Battle of Windsor, but also learned to hate the Saxons. got 25 from garrison duty twice in a row, got 25 for sailing with the High King, and then died gloriously at the Battle of Salisbury for 1540 glory, for a grand total of being too short of 3,000. 2998.
That's going to bother me.
I knew it would, which is why I mentioned it that way. I'm an asshole. You know this.
So, so how much does his father have as far as glory goes at the end of the day?
2,998.
Just shy of being Mr. 3000.
That is why I said that to him, because I knew it would fucking
2
bug
points
him.
off irritates me.
Wait, Monarch, you're not black enough to be Mr. 3000.
I mean, I don't like mayonnaise, and I like fried chicken and watermelon. Does that count?
No.
Wow!
Monarch taking
Hey,
a
you
note
brought
from
it
my
up.
book.
I'm walking away.
Excellent, Bane.
He took a leaf out of my book.
That he did.
So Monk, are you going to try and create a character, or do you want me to go?
I'm gonna have you go. If I try and do it, it's gonna be way too much window jumping.
I understand. Okay. All right. So first things first. Let me go all the way back up to the character creation page so I know which town I'm getting. Okay. Okay. So I got 5, which is Cholderton. Okay. Now let's go back down to the actual family part. And I love bookmarks. Let's roll us a 1d20. Go, go, go. You know what? I will take an 18. So that's 2,800 of my great-grandfather's glory. Let's see how he died. 2. He died in battle during a personal feud. That sounds like my great-grandfather. Okay, so now we need my grandfather's glory. Roll 2d20 and add that to 1/10 of 2,800. You know, I really like it when 15 and 19 come up. That's what, 34?
Yeah.
34 plus 280 is 314. And now we start. Let's see how quick or slow Granddaddy dies.
Yeah.
For 439. 7. Fought at the Battle of Carlion. Okay. Come on. No money, big whammy. Let me get a crit fail. 4. He survives. Roll a d6. 3. He gets 45 glory from surviving the Battle of Car. That seems to be we're hitting the dead center of the standard deviation there.
We are.
Now
Didn't
I need
we
to
all
roll.
hit that so far?
No. Remember that. In fact, let me go check. I got 8 for the Irish. You got 8 for the Irish. Rick got 12 for the Irish, and Flutter got 14 for the Irish. All right. So, but that's also for the Irish instead of for the 45. Well, I think almost all of us got 45. You're right there. So let's see if I get this passion. Let's roll. That is a 5. No passion gained. Ooh. I do not hate the Irish. It's fine. Okay. 440. Let's see if Grandpappy dies here. 10. Served garrison duty, survived victor's gained 10 glory. Okay. 441 and 2. 8. Served garrison duty, gained 20 glory. Okay. This is going to get a little, I think, repetitive. Maybe.
Yeah, possibly.
17. Served garrison duty, survived raiding, gained 20 glory.
Maybe we gave the first guy too much shit for all the garrison duty.
Knights,
all we did.
a lot of knights perform
Yeah.
garrison duty, so that makes sense. 45. 44 to 45. 16. Served garrison duty and survived, defended well, gained 10 glory. Okay. See, but here's the thing. You can tell how these are weighted. Like, you have when you get to 446, you have a 75% chance of fighting in the Battle of Lincoln.
Yeah.
You know, like an 18. So, I fought in the Battle of Lincoln. Let's find out what happens. And just like there's also a bias here for an 80% survival chance, I survived with a 12. Survived, continue history, roll on passion table 443. First, I'm going to roll my 1d6, multiply it by 2, and then 30. That is a 5. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 30 is 300. Or times 30 is 300, excuse me. 300 glory. Now I need to see if I get a passion for hating Picts. I'm going to laugh if I'm the only one who gets no passions. 9. No passion gain. You know, I did say tempting fate isn't just a pretty proverb for a reason.
Yes.
Okay. Years. Let's see. No passion gained. 447 to 449 is you know what? To be the different guy here, yes, I am a dissident. I complain. But I also rolled an 18, so nothing significant occurred. Since nobody else had done that besides me.
Yay, contrarian.
I wanted to do something different.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, you
Okay.
already are. We hate everybody.
And I don't hate anybody. Yeah. Okay, 450. First, it says, decide if your family was one of those who complained or not, and if they did complain earlier, did they become more vocal in their opposition by becoming leaders? Sure. Dissident leaders. There we go. I'll go full in on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's see what happens to me. 19. Attended the wedding of Vortigern and Rowena. Noticed she was pregnant. Gained 50 glory. Attended wedding. Rowena. Pregnant. Okay. 451. If your grandfather complains to Vortigern in 447 to 450, roll table 451B. 451B. Am I gonna go be sent to help Aetius? Or Aetius?
Or do you die?
Or I die! 13. I'm going to the Battle of Chalon. So let's Battle of Chalon. Okay. So once again, I have like a. No, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything. Remember, tempting fate is not just a proverb.
It's only a 1 in 4 chance of death.
Quiet thyself, monarch.
Monarch,
15.
do not tempt the dice god.
Survived. The survivors, all of whom were knights dissatisfied with Vortigern's policies, returned to Britain with great glory. Vortigern welcomes them with honeyed words, but a bitter heart. So I survived. Let's see how much glory I get from rolling a 1d6. 6.
Flutter, I will counter your statement earlier with this. Yes, the dice gods show no passion.
Show no
The gods of-
mercy.
Whatever. The gods of comedy, however, are the
Also, show no mercy.
In fact,
Okay.
they're the opposite
True.
of the dice gods.
True. This is very true.
52 through 54. Do I die? No. 8. Nothing significant happened. 55 to 56. Do I die? 7. No. Nothing significant happened. But that is close. That is counting dangerously closer to 1. Fuck you,
That
dice.
it is.
457. I am a dissident, so I roll with a +10 modifier, meaning that I'm going to fight at the Battle of Kent,
Wait.
no matter what.
But are you a loyalist, neutral, or a rebel?
Hold on.
I'm a dissident,
and
I'm a
rebel, or loyalist +10. So I think you still roll. Otherwise, no matter what you picked, you're going to be a +10, aren't you?
Yes, I chose to be a dissident leader. So that makes me a rebel. That means I'm going to fight at the Battle of Kent under Vortimer. So let me write this down. I'm going to put served Vortimer.
Rather than Vortigern.
This is going to suck. Survived! Huzzah! It's a 7!
Holy fuck! This guy showed mercy.
I thought I was going to roll a 1. Which would have been
I
fun
mean, that's
too,
plus
for some
1,000 glory. And you to get that added to your father's.
Well, here's the thing. I got
Yeah.
810 glory from the battle with Ishis. So, I got nearly 1,000 glory from that one.
Mm-hmm.
So I survive. I need to roll 1d6. That's going to be a 2 times 30 is 60, and 3/4 of 60 is 45. I get 45 glory, even for fighting on the losing side. And then I have to roll for a passion. Let's see if I actually get a passion. Let's see if my only passion is hating a king. 14. Gain passion, hate Vortigern.
Wow.
He hates all the wrong people.
That's fucking hilarious.
Is it
We're all
wrong
over here hating the
that
I
I
or
do a
the.
one shot with just these characters just so we can see how Sam would play the character?
Well, you know how to play the character. You know where I'd be going with it. There ain't nothing that's going to stop me. Now, I need to roll 2d6 plus 6. 4 and 5 is 9 plus 6 is 15. I have more hatred for things than the rest of y'all motherfuckers!
Look, you hate like one guy though.
I hate a high king. I hate a high king who turned on us. No, I hate a high king who turned on us and sold us to the Saxons. You hate the Saxons. I hate the man who brought them. We are not the same. Okay. You got it, you little scaves. Now, let's roll to see what good old Grandpa did during 4A 58 and 59. Shevin served garrison duty, saw little or no combat. And now, my grandfather's current glory. Let's go look at this. He started with 314 glory. He got 45 from the Battle of Carlion, 10 from garrison, 20 from garrison, 20 from garrison, 10 from garrison, 300 from the Battle of Lincoln, 50 for the marriage, 810 from the Battle of Shalon, 45 from the Battle of Kent. 1,669 glory is my grandfather's glory. And he's not even dead yet. So, that adds 166 glory to my father's 1,000, who starts at 1,166. Look at that! I'm the only person here whose father has less glory than his grandfather at the beginning. Fuck y'all! Fuck y'all! Okay. So now let's see. Year 460. What happens? 3. Father and grandfather served garrison. Game almost tried to murder my grandfather just there. Fuck you, game. Okay. 461 and 462. Am I going... Who am I kidding? Who am I kidding? Okay, I'll take a 7. That puts me in the Battle of Cambridge with my grandfather. Okay, Battle of Cambridge. What happens? 14. He survives. Add 10 glory. But this means that he dies. He dies on the Night of Long Knives. Which means now I'll hate the Saxons and the High King that brought them. I'm hating the right people. What are the rest of you doing?
Also hating the Saxons.
Yeah, but not the High King who brought them, dick. Okay, so he gets 10 glory from that. Yeah, okay. And then Night of Long Knives treachery. Grandfather murdered. So Night of Long Knives. Grandfather killed. Man, Grandpa, why couldn't you have died in Cambridge? I was never going to get a 1 for that. And then, so let's see what my gain, passion, hate, Saxons. 3d6 plus 6. Hey guys. 6 plus 5 plus 4 is how much? 15. Plus another 6 is 21? I hate the Saxons more than you do. Okay. So let's go see my daddy get married. Daddy, who did you marry? You married a very nice woman at an 18. Plus 200 glory. Look at that. Oh, my father's final glory, by the way, is 1679.
Wow, Grandpa.
Let me grab
And
that.
I am being called away, but I've already done what I need to do, so I will see you guys tomorrow.
Later.
Okay. After the bride's glory of 200 is added to my father's, blah blah blah. We do nothing in the year 465. And 466 and 67. Fought at the Siege of Carlion. At an 11, I survived. 6 times 15 is 60. There we go. 468. Fought at the Battle of Snowdon on a 9. Survived on a 19. And 5 times 15 is 75. So, how much glory do I get for fighting with Uther? Why couldn't you give me nat 20 somewhere else, you piece of shit? 200 glory for fighting with Uther, but that's a pittance compared to some other things. 473. Do I or don't I? I actually have a 50-50 chance, well, a 50-45 chance of not seeing battle, and then a 5%. No, I'm not going to say that last part. And it's a good thing I didn't say that last part, but I still fought in the Battle of Windsor. 14 is survived, gain hate Saxon's passion again.
I don't think you can actually beat that 21 here.
I can't, because I had 3 dice last time, not 2. So how much glory do I get? Let's roll a 1d6 and find out. 2 times 30 is 60, times half is 30. So I get 30 glory.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see how much I hate the Saxons. 2 and 3 plus 6 is 11. So not as much as I did last time, but that means my 21 still trumps overall. 474 to 476. That is a 5. Well, I survive and get 25 glory, but just barely. 477. That is a 17. I survive and get glory. Hooray. 478 and 479. Let's find out what happens.
Go to Salisbury. No one's gotten there yet.
I got a 5, so you're right. I fought in the Saxon raids on Salisbury. So, let me... Means I don't sail with the High King. That's lame. Oh well. Saxon raids on Salisbury. 15. I survived. Let's roll 1d6 and see what I get for it. 5 times 20 is 100 glory. $480. 480 says, I served at the Battle of Salisbury. Of course I did. But I got a 19 and survived that bitch. Which means that I also get the ones for going to the coronation and funeral.
Mm-hmm.
Let me grab some of this. Oh. So I survived. Since I survived, I need to roll up my glory. What glory did I get from the Battle of Salisbury? 45 times 1d6 times 2. So basically 1d6 times 90. God, that's a lot. Especially when it's a 5. 450 glory. And then 50 from the funeral and 50 from the coronation. Okay. 481 to 483. Did I serve garrison duty or did I serve garrison duty?
Or just die.
2. I almost died. Fuck you, Monarch. Saw some fighting, gain glory. Sweet. Plus 25 glory. Year 484. Did I serve garrison duty or fight at the Battle of Aburicum? I fought at the Battle of Aburicum with a 12. How did I know? Okay. Okay. 17. Escaped and survived. Gain hate Saxon's passion. Okay. I survived with hate Saxon's passion 1d6 plus 6. So 1 plus 6 is 7.
Yep. And I don't think I read the blurb afterwards because the last time we got this far, that person's father had died.
Yes. Let me roll up my 1d6 times 15. That's a 4. 4 times 15 is 60. I get 60 glory from this stupid fucking battle.
King Uther refuses to give up. With the battered remnants of his army, he sneaks north under the cover of darkness and falls upon the celebrating Saxons, who are drunk on both victory and ale. The Saxons are slaughtered, and Uther claims a great victory. If your father survived thus far, no small feat, he fights again this year, but perishes at the Battle of Mount Damon.
I'm doing all the luck rituals. All of the luck rituals. And that, my friends, is how luck rituals work with a 1! Fuck y'all! Fuck y'all! Dies gloriously!
Of course, that brings us to year 485. King Uther suffers heavy losses and raises many troops to make up for it. He orders all squires who are ready to muster at Windsor Castle to be knighted.
And for my normal Battle of Mount Damon glory, with the 1,000 glory extra it's getting, I rolled a 5 on that d6. That's 5 times 90. That's 450 glory plus another 1,000.
So, I think you ended up having the most glory out of any of the knights here.
Most glory on my father, for sure. The most glory for the grandfather was definitely Monarch, with 1864.
Yep.
But let's just count my father's glory, shall we? Starting with 1166. He gets 200 from marrying. He gets 60 from the siege, 75 from Snowdon, 200 glory fighting with Uther, 30 glory from Windsor, 25 from garrisons twice. Hold on, accidentally did that wrong. There we go. 100 from the Saxon raids on Salisbury, 450 from the Battle of Salisbury, 100 from the funeral and coronation, 25 more from garrison duty, 60 more from the Battle of Ebracum, and 1,450 from his glorious death on Mount Damon, for a grand total of 3966. And I hated all the right people. Saxons and the fucking Vortigern. Fuck him.
Think lack of hatred for the Irish, though.
And the Picts. I didn't hate either of them. I hated the right people. The High King who imported barbarians and betrayed us. And the barbarians themselves. Eat shit.
Although, I'm pretty sure when some of you saw the moment about the Knight of Long Knives, you ended up thinking of something within our wheelhouse.
Well, I know I know from the Knight of Long Knives from Arthurian legend, but yes, there is a Knight of Long Knives that is in other things too.
Yeah, for those who still don't know what I'm referring to, think of the Knight of Black Knives from Elden Ring.
Mm-hmm. It's the same thing.
It's the same thing. I'd also say, to a lesser extent, the Red Wedding, even though the bigger inspiration for the Red Wedding was the Glencoe Massacre. The other thing that I find amusing with this particular setup is I've had my back and forth with people who talk about historical accuracy or medieval realism when it comes to role-playing games, and every time it comes up, I always end up thinking of what Joel had coined. You play elf games.
Yep.
Which you can add that to the reason why you're not seeing me Macros extols the virtues of simulationism. I'm neutral on simulationism. But what I don't care for is the idea of simulationism being inherently superior.
Once again, that goes into our whole thing about designed by gospel and ivory tower gamers.
Mm-hmm. And with something like Pendragon, you can... I look at it as having an understanding of the amount of historical realism is left up to the player.
Yeah.
Especially since it's not like he's trying to go for heavy amounts of realism when it comes to the combat. I mean, this is still using the spirit of basic role playing, although it's not really doing the attribute and skill thing that you tend to see in that system, and instead using a D20. Which I know some would say that it's odd that it's using a D20 instead of a D100, but given the way things like personality traits work and how that has to be just as integrated, it actually makes sense.
Mm.
And as far as the use of D6s, well, that's pretty common in basic as well, so no skin off my back.
I mean, if someone takes issue with D6s being in any tabletop game, regardless of where that D6 comes in and is used, please do realize that at this point in the world, a 6-sided die is the most ubiquitous form of die worldwide.
There's a reason why we were surprised when Convictor Drive was using D10s.
D10s are very uncommon. D12's even less common.
Oh.
The dodecahedron does not get enough love.
Yeah. I still need to make that PSA parody. The only thing that's stopping me is I've realized I can't do the voice. I mean, I can script the idea, but I can't do the voice.
Which voice are you looking for?
I'm looking for the sad voice. So I need a girl who can get the sad voice in those ads that insist on having in the arms of the angels.
Yes.
Yeah, I need that kind of voice.
Yes.
And when it comes to Pendragon, how fantastical you want to make your version of Salisbury or any other region is largely up to you. There's an entire add-on that is just dedicated to character creation if you want to be a magician. Along with several other factors. That being said, for people who want to do, as I said in my review, people who want to do beer and pretzel style thing, Pendragon is not going to be for you.
Yeah, it's pretty involved.
It's pretty involved, and one of the big things about it is that one game session is 1 year of in-game time. Like, you have the adventuring stuff, and then you have the winter phase, which is where, well, winter hits and nobody's really doing all that much adventuring because it's fucking cold.
It is the winter, and it's not like we're looking for the Grail yet.
Mm-hmm. The Grail concept is in the Great Pendragon campaign. Some people like it, some people don't like it. I'm neutral on the Great Pendragon campaign. Of course, the tricky thing with Pendragon is that it did kind of jump between owners a bit when it came to 5th edition.
Mm-hmm.
The original 5th edition was published by Art House, which was a subsidiary of White Wolf, for stuff that they wanted to publish but didn't want to publish with the White Wolf branding.
Mm-hmm.
5.1 was let's see, That, I believe, was published by... Actually, 5.1 and 5.2 were both published by Nocturnal Media, which was Stafford's company for a while when he was doing the independent thing.
Mhm.
And then then shortly after 5.2 came along, Stafford passed away, and a lot of the Nocturnal stuff got folded back into Chaosium, and Chaosium is publishing the 6th edition.
Okay.
And from what I see out of the pregens of 6th edition, it very much looks like it's keeping the D20 mechanic. And part of the reason why I say that the way Pendragon 5th and 6th edition work, you couldn't really do that in the D100, is the fact that when it comes to the traits, you have two extremes, and no matter what, it has to add up to 20. Now, could you do that with a 100? Yeah, but the math regarding the amount of points you'd have would be really wonky.
Yeah. Not to mention that when numbers get that big, they get a little unwieldy.
Mm-hmm.
So keeping it down in a more, I guess, easier to handle would be the best way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
Because large numbers can get very unwieldy very quickly.
I know that some people will yell about my bell curve, but I don't care. I'm not one of those people who snubs their nose at D20 because standard distribution or bell curve or what have you.
Not to mention that the D20 still has a standard distribution. Just because it's changed the number of faces on the die doesn't mean there isn't a bell curve there.
No, it's just... once again, I like giving Rift players a lot of shit because of the whole superior 3d6 bell curve argument.
I don't see how... I've never gotten that argument, especially considering that the mathematics for both bell curves still, in the larger state of statistical math, is so insignificant that I think they're just kind of well, again, I said it earlier, ivory tower.
Mm-hmm. Oh, because these are the same people that keep saying, "Oh, you can run GURP, you can use GURPS to run anything." And I say, build me a Gundam with GURPS vehicles and get back to me. They never do. I mean, could you build a Gundam with GURPS? Yes. Do I want that kind of headache? No.
No. Abso-fucking-lutely not.
Because after about 3 days, it becomes a cry for help. But because of the fact that there isn't a set level of fantastical, if you want to bring in the magical end, you can. If you want to be a little bit more historical, you can do that.
And yes, this also means that if there are degenerates out there who really want to, they can probably run a Fate version of this. And by Fate, I don't mean Fate system, I mean Fate Stay.
Yeah. One of these days I will tackle the idea of doing that, because nobody's really attempted anything like a Fate RPG since Heaven's Feel, and he was using Unisystem and trying to combine Fate, the original Fate Stay Night, with Kara no Kyokai and Tsukihime.
Which, I mean, that is something that can happen because they do all exist in the same universe. But man, that's a lot of variables to play around with.
Plus, Unisystem is that kind of point buy from the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
And that pure point buy is something that I've fallen out of favor with.
It can be good when done properly.
It can be good when done properly, but remember, in the early 2000s, that thing was fucking everywhere.
Yep. Everybody thought point buy was the solution to people instead of die rolling for your attributes and all that other shit. Man, don't try to make a silver bullet for a problem that doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm. But I do think, truth be told, if somebody asked me if I wanted to do an Arthurian campaign, I would either be heavily messing around with Pendragon, or I would just run against the Dark Master, which I know some people will say, yeah, but that has fantasy races. How would you do Arthurian with that? Have everybody be different types of man. It's not a one size fits all when it comes to the human race in versus Dark Master.
Hell, it's not a one size fits all in the human race when it comes to the actual Arthurian legend. As we just explored here, we have the Irish, the Picts, and the Saxons, along with Roman Bretons.
Mm-hmm. But I will note that if I'm doing that, I'm keeping the phase-based combat system.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
Mostly because I know how to work with it, and also because I don't like throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
Well, and I think a real big thing there, Monk, is that that phase-based system is good for a large-scale battle too, of which there are a lot of in Arthurian legend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And let's consider the fact that Against the Dark Master is largely inspired by power metal. Max has told me as such.
Yep.
And not just any power metal, but in particular Blind Guardian.
Heh.
And let's also consider how in a lot of epic fantasy, part of what makes epic fantasy epic is the scale. You're not dealing with a personal story of a few folks just trying to survive. That's usually a sword and sorcery thing. No, you're dealing with grand scale, grand implication. It is the equivalent of everything's bigger in Texas, and that includes battles.
Yep.
You're not doing the delving. You're not doing the dungeon delve to get treasure and get rich. No, if you're dungeon delving, you are going behind enemy lines to fuck things up from the back.
And I would also argue that, especially with some of the things Pendragon says in the beginning about making your knight, the type of heroics that everybody is familiar with when it comes to Arthurian legend is not what you are aiming for in Pendragon. You are aiming for being someone who lived in those times, not a hero of those times.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly, you have your own heroism. You know, like the little rolls that said, you died gloriously in battle. Okay, cool. You can totally come up with how you died gloriously in battle. It may have even helped shape the battlefield. But that doesn't mean you are, for example, Sir Kay, or Uther himself, obviously, since he's mentioned, or any of the Knights of the Round Table, or Merlin. You are knight somebody from somewhere who did a very glorious thing and died.
Yeah.
My father took 5 spears to the nuts before he went down.
How are you born then?
Yeah. Incidentally,
Remember, my father died glorious in battle, like after my father was already alive.
I know. I'm just
Yeah.
making a joke.
No, it's called. He was the one who survived the,
Okay.
the onslaught.
I'm trying to remember the game system. It was Prophecy. That straight happened to one guy like 3 different times on the crit rolls. He took a spear to the groin in just completely different fights.
Oh, jeez.
How are you still walking after that?
I'll go
The
better.
nerves are dead at that point, I think. There's no feeling down there anymore.
But go ahead, Monk. Sorry about that.
Aren't there certain folk in Japan who've trained themselves to no sell getting kicked in the balls?
Not just Japan, but it's a lot of different martial places, including some parts of the Shaolin Temple.
Mm-hmm. To the point.
And then there's me.
Yeah.
Then there's me. I didn't train to no sell. I trained myself to reflexively spear the person who hits me in the nuts.
With that said, guys, I'm going to head out.
All right.
Talk to you later.
Although truth be told, if I wanted to really be an asshole, I would run a Pendragon style epic, but instead of doing the typical chivalric tragedy and all that, instead run it almost like a power metal album. If you need a bit of reference for what I mean by this, even though the game sucks, Legion: The Legend of Excalibur. Also, hello there from the hilt. You came in at the tail end of us doing the glorious insanity of tracking lineages with Pendragon. But the reason I would go with that is everybody's like, oh, you have to be accurate to the source material. You have to be accurate to the to history in this pedantic way. Like you have to measure the individual weight of bullets in a modern game. Like, the fuck I don't. It's my damn table. I'll do what I want.
You want me to measure the individual weight of ammunition? I'm going to call that very unfun. Eat shit.
I dealt with that when the 1 or 2 times that I ran Phoenix Command, and I've told you I'm not doing that again.
Yep.
That sort of minute pedantry I am not doing. And
simulationism can be fine, but there's a point where there's too much of it.
Yeah. I was in a conversation with some folks who I'm gonna be having in the temple next week. I had brought up to them one of my mantras: believability trumps realism.
Yep.
And the key thing with that is an audience wants to be tricked, and I know some people want to act like an audience has to be a crowd for a stage or something like that. No, an audience can be big as that or as small as just the other people at the table. When I'm telling jokes at a bar and there's only like 7 people, I have an audience of 7 people.
Mm-hmm.
It's no different compared to a gaming table, virtual or otherwise. The GM and the players are actors and audience at the same time. And hell, one game that I've covered years ago outright builds around that, and that is Tenra Bancho Zero.
Yep, where only some people are in scene at any one time, and the other players who aren't in scene are encouraged to pay their respects for good role-playing that they see using the I-Key and Ki system.
Mm-hmm. Which is outright used as an analog as if they are the audience in a kabuki play.
Mm-hmm.
As well as going into the difference between kabuki and no theater. But I know some may argue that we haven't been taking Pendragon seriously enough. We're taking it as seriously as we take everything else. This is not a serious discussion only kind of show. This is a we're a bunch of shit posters who love having fun with everything we do kind of show.
Yep. You came here for serious business. You might get a little bit of that, but you better be prepared for a bunch of irreverence.
Mm-hmm. There's a reason why I've said that the Black Pants Legion is the kind of community I wish to foster.
Everybody hails Tex.
Yeah. Even though I think Tex should never design an RPG himself.
I want to see him design one just to see how crazy it gets.
Crazy and or stupid?
Yes.
I could go with that, and I'm glad that he's uploaded the Warhammer 40K actual play onto YouTube. Seriously though, what the fuck is up with that hat? Let alone how they turned what was supposed to be a character named Tarzan, who's supposed to look like he has furs, into a barbarian / caveman fur trapper.
I mean, it's inventive.
Yeah. Then again, sometimes things go completely off the rails in terms of plans. Something that something that our good brother Shades is more than familiar with. Given his character in the Emberwind campaign, he was supposed to be the healer.
He ended up the tank.
Mm-hmm. But that's the way things crumble. But with that said, that is going to wrap it up for this week on GeekWatch. Now I will be doing a couple interviews over this week. Wednesday I'll be bringing in Jason from Earl of Fife Games to talk about the campaign setting he's doing for Heroes and Hardships called Dungeons Deep and Caverns Old. Thursday, Monarch and I are continuing our look through Valley of the Judge after a brief look at the Fate card system, which for introducing tarot into the thing, it is decent. A few things could have used some more expansion, but decent.
It's definitely a system that needed some examples for how to actually use the cards, but otherwise, yeah, I like it.
Mm-hmm. And of course, since it's called Dungeons Deep and Caverns Old, you probably have a good guess on the focus.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, Thursday I'm tackling Brass and Steel with him. We are going to be tackling the Technology and Equipment chapter. And since we're dealing with a steampunk alternate history, I expect glorious bullshit. Friday, Zan and I are continuing our look through the vocations of Planetbound. This time, the Oscillo Lodestar.
Yep, Oscillo Lodestar. We're finally getting into an actual class based on Nova.
Mm-hmm.
And you might say the Sworn Sister was one, but they're more an anti-Nova.
Yep. On Saturday, the Battle Lords crew is coming back in, since they are going to be they have some expansions that we're going to be talking about. Along with, and yes, that includes Kaiju. Because of course it does. I mean, they put out a module that was 310 to Yuma in all but name. I am doing a double feature next Sunday. One of them is with Ed Jowett on his Era Dragon Song campaign. It's always nice to have Ed back on. And on that same day, I'll be talking with the Worlds Within team, who I was in a voice call with them so that they could kind of get a feel for how I do things, and we're definitely on the same wavelength.
Mhm.
So that's going to be fun, and of course there will be the return of GeekWatch, and next week's GeekWatch topic is going to be significantly topical. Fortunately, not topical in a politics way. Do I look like Hassan to you? Don't answer
No.
that. I have more than one brain cell. That's shared
Well,
with Mosh.
I was actually going to say, well, Hassan's not black enough.
No, he's also too short.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a buffalo. But it is going to be somewhat recent, because I decided to call an audible at the last minute.
Yep.
Once again. And it'll allow me to utilize an old gag. So, as Yoshi P would say, please look forward to it. But until then, on behalf of the good brothers present and not present, my name is Mildra, I am your gaming monk, and join the watch.